Good evening, I'm Kevin Christopher.
And I'm Nancy Cox. Thank you for joining us at 6. 2 have been fired, 1 has been reassigned, but all 3 women facing abuse charges in Lincoln County went before a judge today.
Police say the women are accused in connection with the abuse of a student with autism. Carolina Buchek has what happened in court today in the LEX18 big story at 6.
Now, I have 3 people and 2 attorneys mentioned, so who does not have an attorney?
Today, the judge made sure everything is on track for the case against these 3 women to move forward. The women are special education teacher Rebecca Spurlock and instructional assistants Janie Hasty and Teresa Sparkman. And police say they each face a charge of second-degree criminal abuse. According to the criminal complaint, on January 3rd, in a classroom here at Lincoln County High School, an autistic and nonverbal student was walking around Spurlock's classroom when Janie Hasty allegedly starts punching at his head, taunting him. The complaint says Hasty continued pulling and shoving the student as Teresa Sparkman laughed. As far as the teacher, Spurlock, goes, documents say she didn't get physical. But earlier on, the Lincoln County attorney told LEX18 she did nothing to stop it either.
The teacher was in the room. As to exactly what she saw, I don't know, but they felt like that there was enough from what they saw from the video that they did request charges against the teacher also.
Today, the women were taken out of the courtroom a back way, avoiding LEX18's cameras. But police say one camera not avoided was the one that recorded the entire alleged incident in the classroom. Covering the news in Lincoln County, Carolina Buchek, LEX18 News.
Authorities at Fayette County Public Schools sent a letter home to parents today, making them aware of a fight that broke out between 2 Henry Clay High School students, one of whom used brass knuckles. That student is charged with unlawful possession of a weapon on school property, which is a felony. The student will face administrative consequences through the school district as well as in the court system. A recent increase in patients with flu-like symptoms means UK hospital is restricting visitors.
And that policy went into effect immediately. LEX18's Angie Bevan joins us here in the studio with more details.
The changes to the visitation policy are temporary, and this is something UK Hospital has done the past several years during flu season. UK Healthcare is reporting an increase in the number of patients with flu-like symptoms. With the temporary rules, no visitors under the age of 12 are permitted. Visitors with flu-like symptoms are also not permitted. The hospital is limiting the number of visitors in a patient's room, and visitors might have to wear masks.
As you know, you can get flu anywhere, not just in the hospital, and so we try very hard just to maintain as good of control as we can during this time. And so the people that are in the hospital are at a higher incident of catching the flu from someone that's sick.
We have more information on the steps taken at UK Hospital to try and stop the spread of the flu at lex18.com. Kevin, back to you.
Thanks, Angie. Fayette County health officials are warning parents after another case of pertussis, or whooping cough, was confirmed in a Lexington school. The new case is a student at Bryan Station High School. This is the 4th confirmed case in Lexington this year, following one at Athens-Charlesburg Elementary, one at Tates Creek High School, and another at Henry Clay High School. Whooping cough is a highly contagious respiratory illness spread by coughing and sneezing.
That's how your afternoon has looked. Gray out there, and that's with your St. Joseph Health weather bug camera from 21C Museum Hotel. A little light rain continues out there also. We'll see a lot more rain as we go through this week. On the Max Track Live Doppler, main batch of rain is now through eastern Kentucky. There are little pockets of light rain starting to reform behind it, but the main batch that we will see this evening now runs from, right down 421 from McKee to Manchester, continues then on toward Leslie County. It works its way up toward Breathitt County there in Jackson, out down on Rousseau, up towards Salyersville as well. More rain then from Moorhead, Cave Run Lake, all the way up into northeast Kentucky, and that all continues pressing eastward. So here's the future track. There's your main batch of rain, but a new batch of light rain will be following in a little bit later on tonight as well. No big deal. It's not a lot of rain, which for us is a rarity because it seems like whenever it rains, it pours, if we can borrow a cliche there. By the time we get you into tomorrow, just a stray shower or two will be running around. Setting the stage, though, for what will be a very wet middle of the week, but also a very warm middle of the week. We'll talk about both in a minute.
All right, Bill, thanks. A preliminary autopsy report reveals 2 brothers found dead in northern Kentucky froze to death. Officials in Boone County say a relative found the 2 men Saturday near their property on Garrison Creek Road in Petersburg. The sheriff's office says the relative made the discovery after finding the brothers' truck stuck in the mud about a half-mile from the home. 72-year-old Obie Fugate was on the driveway. 67-year-old Roy Fugate was found on the front porch. Deputies found 2 receipts dated January 29th, which was the last day their family had contact with the men, but they're still investigating whether that's the day the brothers died. We're learning more about the last known whereabouts of missing Madison County woman Savanna Spurlock.
Once again, Richmond police say the case goes back to Garrett County. Lee Searcy has the story.
These are the last images of Savanna Spurlock before she vanished early January 4th. She was spotted leaving a Lexington bar with these 2 men, along with a third guy not on camera. Richmond police now confirm the 22-year-old left the bar and all 4 then went to an undisclosed home in Garrett County. The question haunting her family the past month, where is she now? The men deny having anything to do with her disappearance.
We know that she made it to a residence there, and she's unaccounted for after that.
Savanna's mother thinks the men know more than they're saying and begs them to share information if they have it. Last week, police and dogs searched a farm on Perkins Lane in Garrett County. The week before, they searched a house just up the road and seized a white car that belongs to one of the men. Police aren't saying what home Savanna went to, but LEX18 has learned another house in Garrett County was searched for hours soon after she disappeared. At the request of police, we're not showing that address. Meanwhile, there are new details about Savanna's cell phone.
We know that based upon records from the cell phone company that the phone went out of service around 8:30 to 8:45 that morning.
All of Savanna's social media like Facebook and Instagram went dark too. Now with Savanna's last known whereabouts released, police hope this information jogs a memory of someone who may have seen her. Lee Searcy, LEX18 News.
The coroner says it could take weeks to get toxicology results for a Clark County mother found dead last week. Amanda Bailey's body was found Thursday off Concord Road, not far from Lake Reba in Richmond. That's where the 26-year-old woman was last seen. Bailey's family tells us she was talking to an ex-boyfriend who said she walked away after they talked.
2 people were caught on camera on a Lexington car lot, and now police want to talk to them about a theft which took place there later that day. Michael Burke has the details in this week's LEX18 Crimestoppers.
At this point, they can't be connected, but Lexington police would sure like to talk to the 2 men who were caught on camera at Alex Auto on Winchester.
Earlier that same day, there was a couple of gentlemen that came onto the lot, and they were walking around this exact same vehicle.
And walking is not all they did.
They're looking underneath it, looking at some of the mechanical things behind it, so that leads us to believe that maybe they were thinking about coming back and trying to see what exactly they were going to need when they came back.
May not have been the same 2 people, but someone certainly did come back.
They slowly bring their tools onto the property and start to go to work on this vehicle, as you see right over here beside me.
And police don't seem to think the stolen wheels and tires were resold. It's more likely that those wheels could roll up right next to you.
It looks like they were trying to steal these for personal use.
Okay.
Because they targeted this specific vehicle based on probably the bolt pattern of those wheels and also on that tire size.
Knew what they were doing, didn't care that they could have easily been caught.
Because if you've got the brazenness to do this during a work day, after hours at a busy intersection like that, there's probably other crimes that you may be responsible for we need to know about.
The first step, however, is finding out who they are. Covering this week's Crime Stoppers in Lexington, Michael Burke, LEX18 News.
Remember, if your information leads to an arrest, you could get a cash reward from Bluegrass Crime Stoppers. Just call that number on your screen, 859-253-2020, or text your information to crimes, put Lex PD in the message, along with your anonymous tip.
Still ahead, police in Frankfort are investigating gummy worms found laced with drugs.
More about the dangerous stash of candy is next on LEX18 News at 6.